Welcome to another episode of URC Chumps podcast. We're on episode number 74. I've got our Irishman back with us. It must be the luck of the leprechauns coming, and hopefully the luck for tonight. The fact that there's no URC this weekend because Six Nations is officially starting tonight. As we record this on Thursday, just literally 2 hours away to kick off. Darragh, how you doing, man?
Good. Exams and other stuff have kept me off for a while, but I'm excited. How are you?
I'm all right. A little bit disappointed from my side this weekend, but we'll discuss that a little bit more coming up right now. I think, it's best to say we need to get into it. Depending on how you or who you support, it also depends on how the results go for you. Again, welcome to this week of URC Chumps, Rugby Views by Average Chumps. Going into this week, the results, Scarlets being a bit surprising at the moment this season. Managing after being a bit of a good start to bad, now getting okay. 20-all against Benetton. I was maybe expecting a little bit more from Benetton. But
I'm saying that game's played in the most ridiculous fog I've ever seen. I don't know how the game wasn't called off, to be honest.
that was also one of my things is the cheaters got kicked off because the game became dangerous. Why was that not the same in the URC? That is going to be a question that's probably going to be on a few people's minds right now. But
Yeah, Curbs, you're right. Isn't the rule that if you can't see the post from the halfway line, the game has to be called off?
I think it's more indiscretion. But to be honest, looking at that game for me, I would have called it off. Which then, it became a bit dangerous because what happens if you did a crossfield kick?
Yeah, I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, you could see the shot, and the URC kept putting it up for some reason. That your man took a kick from the sideline, you could not see the post. You couldn't even see any outline of the post. You're just hitting and hoping from there. And yeah, I think that should have been called off.
Yeah, I mean, you could see a figurine of a player, but I mean, in the try line. But yeah, that was a bit of, for me, it was a bit controversial in the sense of the game should have actually been called off. But unfortunately, if you were a supporter of the game, please let us know what you thought and what you saw.
Not very much.
Obviously, but yes. Glasgow coming back to Glasgow ways, unfortunately, not the way you wanted, but most likely your girlfriend would have wanted.
Yeah, that was an interesting Friday night, for sure. Yeah, Glasgow missing 19 and Munster missing 17 meant this game was a very, very watered down version of what it could have been. And the first half, Glasgow just tore Munster apart. In the second, Munster got a lot better, and it looked like they could have nicked it at one point. But to be honest, I'd have taken the losing bonus points. There was two debuts. Tom Wood, who's the son of Keith Wood, the legendary Keith Wood's son, made his debut at 10 coming off the bench. And he looked very impressive compared to the 10 that started. I thought our halfbacks were very poor. But yeah, I think what helped Glasgow in the end is Glasgow got five internationals released back by Scotland. We got none. So that was the ultimate difference maker. They got five Scottish international backline players back, and we got none. And you could see the difference in quality.
And then of course, from a South African point of view, the one team getting revenge for the loss at home, Bulls coming very dominant up against the Lions. From what I was watching a little bit, because I was a bit busy at that time, it was looked like a bit slow, and then the Bulls just literally stampeded and put the Lions to bed. Kind of what we've been expecting from the Bulls up until recently, and it looks like they have made a bit of a turnaround, which for watching the Bulls is great. If you don't support the Bulls, it's probably not that great.
Yeah, I mean, the result in Pau and the result in Joburg means that this is finally the Bulls that we should be seeing. Granted, the Lions were awful. I thought the Lions made it so easy for the Bulls, so easy to get over the game line. But finally the Bulls are standing up with the talent they have, with the players they have, and finally putting in the performances they should. As I said, they got a great win away in Pau a few weeks ago, got a great win there. Like they're seventh. They should be a lot higher than seventh. There's a couple of teams above them that they're better than on paper anyway. So like, the Bulls should be easily in the playoffs. Interesting to see where they go now. Can they make a late top four chance? I mean, they could. It's possible, but they're just so inconsistent. It's hard to see.
Yeah. I mean, there's one game that I don't want them to be consistent in. That's coming up in March. But yeah,
Oh, the knockout derby.
yeah. Unfortunately, that's also up at Loftus for us. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see how that game goes. But yeah, the next game, I was a bit disappointed. We started off fantastic. We let it go away from us. Discipline let us down. Like Tim and I said last week, is the captain the right choice that we have at the moment? Yes, he is a fantastic player. Yes, he is a future leader, but was Sasha the right decision to lead us? And I think he was a little bit more mature this week than he was last week. But unfortunately, the result didn't go away. Galant, I think he's an undercover
Yeah,
player for the other team. Um, at one point, I thought we were playing against 17 with 14 men. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, Sasha. I mean, you don't put a guy's first captain role as a derby. That's kind of a general rule of thumb. And I was listening to Peter O'Mahony, talk about that during the week, and he said he wasn't parachuted as Munster captain for an inter-pro game, and that's the way it should be. Like with Sasha, like fair enough if you're playing at home to I don't know someone from Wales or someone from Scotland or something, then yeah, maybe that's it. Don't parachute a young guy, into a captain's role in a big derby game against the Sharks side that are on the up. As much as I hate to admit that, they're on the up. And yeah, Gallant, that is utterly comical. The try mistake, especially, but he was terrible. Absolutely awful. The Sharks finally playing like a bit of a competent rugby team. Uh, I think they will give Peterson the job if they keep going. I can't see why they couldn't. The turnaround they've had in 4 or 5 weeks is immense.
but no,
So
here's something that you as a neutral probably, I would like to hear your points on this. Actually, you know what? I'll bring it up a little bit later. I won't bring it up now because it'll be a nice ending point. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we let that game get away from us. There was a point that we were in it, and then we just let it go. Yeah, we definitely need to keep that intensity up, even if it isn't at full intensity before the last 20 minutes. But Peterson has been playing us perfectly in that regard. If you look last week, the week before, sorry, he played the bench perfectly to hold the Stormers back. He kind of did the same this week. Yeah, and unfortunately, yes, a lot of the 50-50 calls did go against us, but those are 50-50 calls. The week before, like I said, we had a ref that was actually from Cape Town, which is actually, it was a bad selection from my point of view, because it would be
yeah,
nice to see 50-50s go more 50-50 than against you, but that was also because they didn't want to seem favoring the home side. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. And then, of course, Zebra going up against Connacht. Uh, Pretty much expected
yeah.
Connacht to come up on top there.
The the second longest rugby match I've ever watched because this went on until the 91st minute, actually, because 10 minutes of injury time was kind of spent trying to get a bonus point, and they eventually did. Oisin McCormick scored in the 90 minutes and 10 seconds, I think it was, which is a URC record. And the only game I remember ever watching taking longer than that was the infamous 100-minute match in Paris in 2017 when France beat Wales. But yeah, it was 3-0 at half time. So the first half was dreadful. The second half was very entertaining. Connacht, I think, got up to the 5 meter line, sorry, about four times in the first half and didn't score, which has to be some sort of record as well. But in
Yeah,
the second half, it's told Zebra, you just can't make tackles for 80 minutes, essentially. I mean, they scored two tries and the two of them were breakaways, but you just can't defend for 80 minutes. unless you have a heavily superior pack, which obviously Zebra don't. So that's they eventually creaked. And yeah, good massive win for Connacht in the top eight race.
Yeah, I mean, uh, like I said, it was to be expected. Palmer are now the Zebra are the whipping boys of the season, according to the logs, which we'll have a look at shortly after. As you can see, it's right next to it. Um, Leinster beating Edinburgh. Edinburgh hasn't been that great this season. Of course, they've lost a couple of their players to Scotland, but the same could be said for Leinster. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a kind of a fair score considering the teams that were there. Um,
I don't know. I don't know, Curves. I'd look at the Edinburgh team that they had out, and I'd say they should be beating the Leinster team that was out. There was fellas in the Leinster team even I'd never heard of. So, like, I don't know.
but
I
the
think
thing is,
Edinburgh
Edinburgh hasn't been that great this season.
underperformed. Yeah, but they have a squad. They're a bit like the Bulls. They should be in the top eight based on their squad. I don't know who gave Everett a 2 year contract because I think Edinburgh have massively underperformed in the past 3 years. I don't know how that guy talked his way into it in a 2 year extension because if I was an Edinburgh fan, I'd want him gone
Yeah,
because they've
but
got a lot of talent,
no,
especially in the
they
backline.
do, and this has been the surprising thing from them. They've had this fantastic talent. Looks like a great team on paper, but they're not performing the right way. I mean, as you can see, they've played 10 games. They've only won three, and they've lost seven.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not really what we would expect from a team like that. And there has been a few where they've been gnawing at the game, but they haven't been able to cross it over, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, like the game I saw them live at Musgrave against Munster, it seemed that game was a game they found a way to lose it rather than found a way to win it because they dominated. I think that's the case with Edinburgh is they don't have enough leadership because they seem to be in these games, they seem to be ahead in these games. They were ahead on Saturday against Leinster and they just fall apart. They have these 10 minute spells where they concede two tries or 10 points and they lose the game on those swings.
Yeah,
So they need to get someone either that's on the pitch or in the coaching staff that's just able to calm them down when anything goes against them and steady them.
yeah. Then, of course, Ospreys knocking into the eighth position after they win against Dragons. Um, uh, this this season with the Welsh teams hasn't actually been that great. They've been a bit swinging back and forth, and I do understand that's also a lot to do with what's happening behind the scenes in the boardroom
Yeah,
and with the union, the Wales Rugby Union, the Welsh Rugby Union. It hasn't been that great. I saw there was a
yeah,
petition that went out that people are asking people to sign to get them to sort out and allow Ospreys to buy Cardiff or something like along those lines. I actually need to read into that properly. But yeah,
I suppose yeah, Cardiff. We'll get on to them in a minute. Have been the standard bearers in the Welsh rugby this year. They've been the ones that kind of take that mantle and go with it. I like Ospreys have won 4 games. I think 3 of them have been against other Welsh sides. So they've generally struggled, as you said, off the field issues, but they've generally struggled outside of Wales. So that's of
yeah.
course an issue for them.
And then of course Ulster, the team that I think has a very good chance this year with the way that they are playing. I have to, as much as I don't like Johnny Sexton, I think his brother has been a fantastic coach
Yeah.
there, Mark. He's definitely pulled that team around. They had a bit of a slow start at the beginning, but they just seem to be going on the up right now, which is scary. I mean,
Yeah.
look at that. They've played 10 games and they've walked off with 8 bonus points already.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at, I think they were hurt, incredibly hurt by the game against the Scarlets, a game they never should have lost, but they lost. So just to settle down last game for the Six Nations, get a win, 4 point win, nothing impressive, but they won again. As I said, Cardiff are doing very well this season. Cardiff are fifth. And so to beat Cardiff is somewhat of an achievement. Cardiff aren't any pushovers, they're not mugs. So I think Ulster will take that, and yeah, we'll take it. If you'd offered an Ulster fan fourth going into the Six Nations, I'm sure they would have bit your hand off for it before
But
the
I mean,
season starts.
looking at the logs right now, they've both won 7. Okay, Cardiff has lost 4, but that's also because they They don't have a game in hand like Ulster does.
Yeah,
They both got 8
Ulster have a
bonus
game in hand,
points.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight race there. Uh, like I said, Ulster still at least has 1 game in hand, which probably does work in their favor when it comes to the log positions. But yeah, I mean, if we
Yeah.
go through the log positions, Stormers obviously dropping down to 3rd. In a way, I'm glad, like I said in the beginning of the season when we were doing so great, I actually do want us to lose a couple that we don't sit at number 1, because I do have that superstition of whoever's number 1 generally doesn't win it. Only happened once with Leinster right now in the URC, not in the whole history of this. So, I mean, yes, Leinster, I saw a thing where they were showing that they were 2nd from the bottom, is now sitting at 2nd. It's still open to anyone to take it. I mean, it's actually quite interesting to see. I mean, if you look here at the playoff brackets, this is as it stands right now. So we've got Glasgow going up against Ospreys. Unfortunately, Ospreys will be going away because they're at the bottom. Leinster hosting the Bulls. Ulster hosting Cardiff. And Stormers hosting Munster. I don't think you want to
Roll
come
it
to
back.
Cape Town right now.
Roll it back when it was 3rd versus 6th in Cape Town. Roll that back because I remember that. Yeah, I mean the top 6, especially anyone in the top 6 can finish first. I mean, what is there? There's 8 points I think between first and sixth. That's literally any one of them going on a run could finish first. As you said, I don't want to finish first either. The season we finished first, we didn't win it, so I'll happily take second
9
or
points, by
third.
the way. It's 9 points
Or
between
9 points.
first and
It's
and
9 points,
Munster.
but still, yeah, but still, like, any of those sides could go on a run. I mean, Glasgow are currently on a run. They've won 9 games in a row. Any of those, I mean, the Stormers can go back up to first, I think, or will they go just behind first if they win with their game in hand? Ulster can go up to second if they win their game in hand. So it's all extremely tight in that top 6, and then from 7th down,
Yeah,
really,
so we
it's
have 2
incredibly tight.
games coming up during the Six Nations. One being against Lions at Emirates, Ellis Park, and we got the other
Yeah,
one going up against Loftus as going to Loftus against the Bulls, which is in the second half of the whole thing. So yeah, it's pretty like you say, anyone's game. I mean, best case scenario for us is Bulls beat Leinster, we beat you. That means we had a home semi-final. Then Ospreys somehow beats Glasgow. And then any one of the other 2 teams can finish, and then whoever wins that one, that's the only way we get a home final
yeah,
as it stands. That isn't saying that
yeah.
is how it's going to go, but as it stands right now, that is how we get a home final with this current.
Yeah, well, I suppose I can say this. I mean, the Six Nations, I don't think there's ever been South Africans as great for the Six Nations, aside from the ones playing for Scotland, of course, as the lads in Cape Town are now for the break. I think the break will do the Stormers a lot of good, just to kind of get a week or two off to recharge and go again after 2, I'd say, surprising enough losses, especially the one in Cape Town.
Yeah,
Um,
but what's nice is you saying that we're getting the likes of Dan du Plessis back, Ruan now, and Dion Free back. There is another player, but those are 3 of the main players that they're talking on the leadership side of things. So that is awesome for us, the fact that we get experience and leadership coming through. Oh, I think the other one was also France Malherbe. It's a bit touch and go right now.
Yeah, but
But
like that's 3 players, and the rest of them just get a week off. As I said, this break is lined up perfectly for the Stormers, pretty much
yeah,
more than anyone else.
but Dobbo has also said this isn't what we need. We're not playing the right game. This isn't the way we need to play. We need to play a lot better. Hopefully this break is where we break that mentality that we've got and we get back into the right thing. But yeah, that is pretty much how it is. Remember, guys, please follow us on our social medias. You can just scan the QR code and go check our social medias. Please also remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your views on things and how you feel about some of the stuff we brought up. I actually forgot what I wanted to ask you. I had something in mind, and now it's completely slipped my mind. Oh, that's what it was. So your view as a neutral. We know for a fact right now Tony Brown's contract is up in 2027. Springboks are definitely going to be looking to the future. Would you say JP Peterson might be a okay substitution for Tony Brown with what you've seen that he's done with the Sharks?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you have to wait until the end of the season. You have to wait until you kind of fully get a picture. I mean, I can be a bliss. I've only watched one Sharks game. That was this weekend. That's the first game I watched them under Peterson, and they looked impressive to me. But one swallow doesn't make a summer, and a new manager bounce is a thing. We'll have to wait until the end of the season, a prolonged period of games, along with maybe injuries and stuff. But what I saw on Saturday, I think he could be. But also, if he is offered the Sharks job, which if he continues his form, I can't see him not. You, would he go? I mean, I know it's a lucrative deal, but would you rather have your own franchise with the amount of money that Sharks has? You can sign essentially anyone, and you're the boss. You tell them what to do, with chances to win the URC, and with that squad, you could win the European Cup as well with the general squad, or be an attack coach. I suppose that also goes to personal ambition. Would you rather be the top guy or rather be an attack coach? I could
No,
see the boss offering him a job, but again, it's all on him.
yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's more of a question and conspiracy slash thought idea because South Africans are definitely going to have to start looking beyond 2027 because we know once that World Cup is done, there's a good chance Tony isn't flying back with the Springboks. He's literally just going across back home.
Yeah.
We're still waiting to hear who the captain is. I see there's been a whole thing about Dan Coles being pulled up into the whole thing to be more of a player ambassador and so forth there, which I think is great to try and obviously calm the storm that's coming from the changing room.
Yeah.
Because we know that is part of the reason why Razor's not there. But yeah, we still need to see who the coach is. The time is starting to cut down. I mean, we're already into the second week. Next week will be the second week of Feb. We are literally 4.5 months away from the kickoff of the Nations Cup that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
And I think right now it's 9 to 8 weeks before Super Rugby kicks off, which means you need to have a coach that's watching Super Rugby right now to start getting the team ready for or idea of what the team should look like in June, and especially with the rivalry tour happening August, September.
Yeah, well, I'd look at New Zealand and say, to be honest, I think Jamie Joseph is the best around
But did
because
you hear my
he's
comments?
unemployed.
Did you hear my comment that I've spoken to one or two All Black supporters, and knowing a big community here in Cape Town supports the All Blacks. A couple of them have said if Jamie Joseph is selected, they're supporting the Springboks. They don't want to support the All Blacks anymore, which was a bit of a
Well,
surprise when I heard it.
of course, but I mean, you look, New Zealand aren't going. I can't see New Zealand going with a guy who's not from New Zealand. I can't see it. So you look at there's not that many options. I mean, McMillan isn't going to go down there. He's already said. Schmidt literally just resigned the Australia job because of family matters. I can't see himself throwing himself into a full-time head coach role. He could do what he did with Foster and kind of linger in the background, but I don't see him taking on the main front job. And there's not a lot of coaches lingering around in New Zealand
Yeah,
that
I
you
mean Eddie
can say
Jones was
are.
also thrown in there. But Eddie
Eddie Jones
Jones
will
right
not get
now,
the New Zealand job.
if you put money on Eddie Jones, that Eddie Jones is selected right now, according to the bookies, from what I've seen. If you've done that, you're pretty much set for life because the
No, not
possibility
after
is,
what he did.
yeah.
Not after what he did with the Wallabies. Even then, there's a hatred between Eddie Jones and New Zealand. New Zealand hates Eddie Jones, and Eddie Jones hates New Zealand. So there's more chance of me getting the New Zealand job. Let's just be let's just be frank about that.
Breaking news! You just heard it. Darragh put his name in for the All Blacks job.
If Eddie Jones is in for a time, I'll throw my hat in the ring. I won't have to study for any more exams. I'll be set for life. But uh,
Just do one season,
no,
you'll probably get enough to start a small little real estate business, buy up a couple of properties, and just live off that
I
once you're
mean,
done.
I'll get Shaq's in as my assistant manager. I mean, you might as well go with that coaching staff. You're going to go with Eddie Jones's. I mean, at least we've never turned Australian rugby into the rugby's biggest laughing stock. So
But I mean,
there is that.
that was also a serious thing because I mean, if you looked at Razor's stats, they weren't actually that bad. Yes, of course, lost to Argentina away, the biggest loss in All Blacks history. Which I mean, if you look at it, just before the World Cup, they lost to the Springboks in the Qatar Cup at Twickenham, which was considered their biggest defeat until we beat them in Wellington.
Yeah,
Which,
but like Curbs, there was differences. I mean, that day was that was a friendly, and that was a mixed, that was an experimental New Zealand side. That was New Zealand's full team in Wellington. Granted, I don't like. Yeah, as you said, you look at those results, they still beat Ireland in November, but I think a combination of getting beat away in Argentina, Wellington, and then they got absolutely hammered at Twickenham as well, which is another embarrassing result. England's biggest win over New Zealand in, I think, 30 odd years. I mean, those three alone could seal the fate of any New Zealand manager because New Zealand rugby is ruthless, and that's why
yeah.
it's so successful. Same as South African rugby, the rugby is ruthless in those two countries. That's why they're so successful. And if you get three fairly big beatings in the span of a year as a New Zealand coach, you'll be lucky to cling on to your job.
But then also
So I think there's
the whole thing with the players revolting as well behind the scenes is also part of the matter. But also, I
yeah,
mean, we
well,
also know he was trying to open the borders to the for the players to go out, allow them to go play, because there's still talk that Moanga isn't 100% in the team yet, which means we could actually see him for Tonga next year. I think there was one or two other players as well. That is, Talia is another one that they've said. However, there's talk that no, Talia is going to play for the Springboks. Springbok supporters are going, what is he going to be, the water boy? Because we don't want to mess up with what we have already.
yeah, but I suppose the other point is if you lose that New Zealand dressing room, and New Zealand rugby is built on, humbleness and kind of modesty and all that, there has to be issues. You have to look at Razor as well. Was his character a part of it? Because that's probably the hardest dressing room to lose in world rugby in terms of, as I said, New Zealand rugby is built on this kind of spirit of the game, respect the people around you, respect the refs and all that. I mean, if you lose that dressing room, there has to be part of a character thing on you as well, because a lot of those New Zealand players are good enough. They'll play for New Zealand under pretty much anyone. So was Razor maybe arrogant? Was he a bit pushy? Was there issues with him and the senior players? That also probably has to be considered into this, why he's gone, why they're headhunting now for a new manager.
Mm. But I mean, yeah, unfortunately, that's the thing. I saw a headline. It looks like he's already got his next job lined up, which I'm glad for him. I
Oh
didn't.
yeah, well I mean,
Yeah.
the one thing is his contract. He can't go to a tier one nation for a year, so the Wales job is on cards. So it's a Scotland job. Dude, especially with towns that might be even at the end of the Six Nations. I mean, Scotland job would be great for him, if he could speak Afrikaans. You get on fine just up in Edinburgh. So I hope then because I spent all Friday night listening to it, I'm
I
getting my
noticed
two
how you
teeth
said
in.
Edinburgh and not Glasgow. So Glasgow does
Yeah,
have an Afrikaans speaking coach.
well, so does well, so would Edinburgh. I mean, Everett's from South Africa.
Yeah, Everett then. Yes. Oh.
Jesus, yeah. So if
I think
Franco
half the
Smith doesn't
coaches in the
fancy,
URC speak Afrikaans.
I'm trying to think now. Yeah, if you count Nina as Leinster manager, the two Scotland ones, I think there's a South African in charge of Benetton, the four in South Africa. Yeah, I suppose you're probably right.
The new official language of the URC is
And
Afrikaans.
and I think no, is the Dragons coach from New Zealand or South Africa? That's one I'll have to look up.
Who's that?
I think the coach of the Dragons, I think he's a Kiwi, but he could be a South African. But I'm not sure on that. He could be a Kiwi though. I think he's a Kiwi.
Let's quickly Google that. Dragon
Yeah, quick.
rugby coach. There we go. Let's just see. Papa. No, he is definitely from the Pacific Islands. Former All Black, previously worked in defense coach before taking the helm. So yeah, Philo Tia.
Yeah, so he's an All Black. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, if you want to say Southern Hemisphere, you can include him. You can include McMillan. But yeah, Afrikaans is seven coaches at least out of 16, just under half.
And there's a South African in nearly every single team as well, if you look at it as.
Yeah, I suppose there's going to be two now at Munster next year. Obviously, Klein is leaving, Marnus van der Merwe is joining, and Abrams, I think, is staying.
Yeah, no, Abrams is staying. And then we go across to
Snyman,
Leinster's Arceus Neyman.
Snyman, Werner Koch, and Yarono Augustus at Ulster.
Yeah.
Do Connacht have South African? I don't know
No,
if they
I don't
do.
think Connacht has one.
No, they don't. Their three non-Irish qualifiers are all Kiwis. Um, anyone, take your pick in the Edinburgh and Glasgow teams. Genuinely, would take your pick.
I think Zebra also
Obviously,
doesn't have one.
all the South African sides, obviously. Benetton,
Yes.
Rhino Smith is from South Africa, isn't it?
However, it looks like he's qualifying for Italy and he's able to play for Italy in the next World Cup.
Yeah, he will, but yeah, he's South African. Then the Welsh sides all must have one. I can't think. Then Marnus van der Merwe at Scarlets.
Dan Casende at Ospreys is definitely one, along with
Yeah. Oh
Boshoff.
yeah, they signed him from the. Oh yeah, they signed them from the Cheetahs. Sure. Cardiff is Tinas De Beer at the Dragons, and Cardiff is the scrum half. Oh, what's his name?
I know who you're
Oh,
talking
just
about.
another name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have a scrum half of South African as well. So every team, bar Connacht and Zebra, have South African. There we go. Boom. 14 out of 6.
Yes, URC is officially South African. Proudly
A
made
lot
in
of teams
South.
have Irish qualified. Well, is this? I think there's 7 teams with an Irish qualified player
Yeah.
out of 16. So even,
But
yeah, even have that.
But anyway, guys, thanks very much. Remember to leave your comments underneath. Like I said, also follow us on social.
Mulder. Sorry, Mulder. That's his name. Johan Mulder
There we
from
go.
Cardiff.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're South African, you like the URC because we in it everywhere.
You can join any of the teams.
Yeah.
If you're South African and you like the URC.
You know what? Even if we get knocked out, we got someone in the thing. So if Leinster wins, woohoo, South Africa wins. If Munster wins, woohoo, South Africa wins.
And if they're going to win the URC now, or Zebra.
Whatever happens, South Africa wins the URC. There we go. End of story. Breaking news.
Iconics versus Zebra final. That's the only way South Africa doesn't win.
If that ever happens, bro, like, yo, something really got paid off there. But anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching into us this week. Please remember, like, share, subscribe. Darragh, thanks very much, mate. It was awesome to have you. It's great to see you back. All the best for your exams and everything on afterwards.
Thanks, Chris.
Fellow champions, be safe. And we are moving to a new time slot on Mondays, just to make it life easier and give it you guys some more time. So new episode will be out most likely Tuesday morning. But anyway, guys, have a good one. Cheers.